If you've ever watched people make money in the stock market and wondered how they actually do it, the truth is, it's not as complicated as it looks. And in 2026, one of the easiest ways to get started is through Robinhood. What used to require brokers, phone calls, and serious capital can now be done right from your phone in a few taps. But here's the thing most people don't tell you. Just because it's easy to start doesn't mean it's easy to do it right. And if you don't understand the process, you can lose money just as fast as you can make it. So let's break it down in the simplest way possible, step by step. So by the end of this, you actually understand how to buy and sell stocks on Robinhood like someone who knows what they're doing. The first thing you need to understand is that Robinhood is just a platform. It's not the stock market itself. Think of it like a bridge connecting you to the market. When you open the app, what you're seeing are real companies whose shares are being traded every second. Companies like Apple, Tesla, Amazon. These are businesses, and when you buy a stock, you're literally buying a small piece of that business. Now, before you even think about buying anything, you need to create and set up your account properly. This part is simple, but important. You download the app, sign up, verify your identity, and link your bank account. Once that's done, you transfer money into your Robinhood account. This is your investing capital. And one mistake a lot of beginners make is putting in money they can't afford to lose. The market moves up and down, and if you're emotionally attached to that money, you'll make bad decisions. Once your funds are available, now you're ready to actually buy a stock. But don't rush this part. This is where most people lose. They just open the app, see a trending stock, and hit buy without understanding what they're buying. Instead, use the search bar and type in the name of the company you're interested in. You'll see its stock page. This page shows you the price, charts, performance over time, and other data. But here's what really matters. The price you see is the current market price, meaning the amount someone is willing to sell that stock for at that exact moment. Now, when you're ready to buy, you tap the buy button. And this is where you need to understand something important. There are different types of orders. The two main ones you'll use are market orders and limit orders. A market order means you're buying the stock instantly at the current price. It's fast, simple, and what most beginners use. But the downside is you don't control the exact price you get, especially in a fast-moving market. A limit order, on the other hand, lets you choose the exact price you want to buy at. For example, if a stock is at $100 and you think it might drop to $95, you can set a limit order at $95. The order will only go through if the price hits that level. This gives you more control, but it might not always get filled. After choosing your order type, you enter how much you want to invest. Robinhood allows fractional shares, which means you don't need to buy a full stock. If a stock costs $500, you can still invest $10 and own a small portion of it. This is one of the biggest advantages for beginners. Once you confirm the order, that's it. You now own the stock. And this is where things get interesting, because buying is the easy part. Holding and selling is where the real game begins. When you own a stock, its value will constantly change. You'll see your profit or loss in real time. And this is where emotions start to take over. When the price goes up, you feel like a genius. When it drops, you start to panic. This is why you need a plan before you even buy. Are you investing for the long term, or are you trying to make short-term profits? Because your strategy determines when you sell. Now let's talk about selling. Selling a stock on Robinhood is almost the same process as buying. You go to the stock you own, tap sell, choose the number of shares, and select your order type again. Just like buying, you can use a market order to sell instantly at the current price, or a limit order to sell at a specific price you choose. If you believe a stock will rise to a certain level, you can set a limit sell order and wait. But here's something beginners often get wrong. They sell too early or too late. They either panic sell when the price drops slightly, or they get greedy and hold too long, watching their profits disappear. A smarter approach is to set clear targets. Decide before you buy where you'll take profit and where you'll cut losses. This removes emotion from your decisions. Another powerful tool on Robinhood is the stop loss. This allows you to automatically sell a stock if it drops to a certain price. It's like a safety net that protects your money when you're not watching the market. Now let's talk about timing, because this is something people obsess over. The truth is, you don't need to perfectly time the market to make money. What matters more is consistency and discipline. The stock market opens and closes at specific times, and prices can move quickly during those hours. But chasing every movement is a losing game for most people. Instead, focus on understanding the companies you're investing in and why you're investing in them. One thing you'll notice on Robinhood is that some stocks are labeled as trending or popular. This can be tempting, but it's also dangerous. Just because a stock is popular doesn't mean it's a good investment. In fact, many people lose money by jumping into hype without doing any research. And speaking of research, you don't need to become a financial expert overnight. But you should at least understand what the company does, how it makes money, and whether it's growing or struggling. This basic knowledge already puts you ahead of most beginners. Another thing to understand is fees. One of the reasons Robinhood became so popular is because it offers commission-free trading. That means you're not paying a fee every time you buy or sell a stock. But that doesn't mean trading is completely free. There are still small spreads and potential costs depending on how you trade. Now let's address something most people don't think about: taxes. When you sell a stock for a profit, that profit is considered a capital gain, and in many cases, it's taxable. So if you're making money, you need to be aware that a portion of it might go to taxes depending on your country's laws. Another feature worth mentioning is recurring investments. Robinhood allows you to automatically invest a fixed amount into a stock regularly. This strategy, known as dollar cost averaging, helps reduce the impact of market volatility over time. And here's something important: you don't need to trade every day to make money. In fact, overtrading is one of the fastest ways to lose money. The more you buy and sell without a clear strategy, the more mistakes you'll make. Patience is one of the biggest advantages you can have in the market. Some of the most successful investors simply buy strong companies and hold them for years. Now let's bring everything together. Buying stocks on Robinhood is simple. You deposit money, choose a stock, place an order, and own a piece of a company. Selling is just as easy. But the real difference between someone who makes money and someone who loses money comes down to discipline, patience, and understanding what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, the app is just a tool. It's not going to make you rich on its own. It gives you access, but what you do with that access is what matters. If you approach it like gambling, chasing hype and emotions, you'll most likely lose. But if you approach it with a plan, take your time to learn, and stay consistent, it can become a powerful way to build wealth over time. And maybe the most important thing to remember is this: you don't have to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. Everyone does. What matters is that you learn from them, improve, and keep going. Because once you truly understand how to buy and sell stocks the right way, you're not just using an app anymore. You're playing a game that has created wealth for generations.